Yeah, g'day, it's ZL2CTM. Hey, I picked up this little Yaesu TS-120V on a local auction site here a couple of days ago. It was being advertised and was sold for parts. So I thought, hey, yeah, that'd be a good idea. I wouldn't mind grabbing that. And I've just sort of got it home now, and I'm just having a bit of a play around with it just to find out, if this thing is actually working or not. The receiver itself, as you can hear there, is certainly receiving, which is good. It's a little bit deaf when compared with the other radio. So, for example, if I was just to change to the other TS-120V I've got up here, so tune to the same frequency, I can flick the old antenna swap over there, and we'll be able to do a bit of a comparison between the two radios. So at the moment, that's this particular radio, and if I was to flick the switch, that's the other one. So you can certainly hear, now the speakers are obviously slightly different, but so that's the let's say the good radio, and that's the this particular radio here. So from what I can see, the receiver is certainly a little bit deaf. The S meter doesn't work at all, so I'm just wondering if, and I'm not 100% sure if that's tied to the AGC, but certainly when I vary the signal strength, I get no variation in that. The RF gain will affect it, but it's certainly, a full gain there with no input. I would expect that to drop down to more like 0 than where it is, but like I say, no variation there when the signal strength varies. In terms of the phase lock loop in there, so that's 80 meters. See there, so we've got a loss of lock there on the phase lock loop. If I go to 20 meters and then go back to 40, it was there for a sec, and then it's dropped off again. So there's potentially there's a one of the transistors there on the output of the 8 megahertz oscillator might be playing up there, but like I say, that was working before, it's not now, so there's obviously something a little bit tied in there. 20 meters, go beyond that, and we're not getting locked, so 21, 28, 28.5 and the like, so certainly got a few issues there. Like I said, it was working before, but you can see it's just there for a little bit, and then it goes out of lock. So yeah, obviously some issues there. If I was to go on to the dummy load now, on CW, we're not getting any carrier gain, so there's certainly no continuous wave coming out of this in terms of CW. If I do transmit on the lower sideband, I don't have the microphone plugged in here. I can receive, there is an output on this that I can pick up on the monitor radio, but there's absolutely no indication of output power. So what I'm picking up on the monitor radio, the other radio that is, must be the low power exciter, either coming straight out of that balanced modulator and any buffer circuits after that. I'd have to check the circuit diagram, or maybe a low power stage before going into the high power stage. But suffice to say, there's obviously an issue there on the high power side. In terms of the radio itself, it's these things back, I understand, date back to the 1970s, so it's certainly been around a while. Internally, not too bad, and I'll get on to what I'm sort of thinking about doing with this. Let me just turn that off so nothing fails there. What I was thinking about doing, it wouldn't interest me too much to basically repair this radio and to use it as it is in this particular case. And as you can see here, the case is pretty well, in terms of the anodizing there, has all been worn off. Certainly the upper and lower case have seen certainly much better days, a little bit dinged in and the like. And you can see a lot of wiring here that's obviously been cut and sort of soldered back together but not protected. There's a whole lot of cut wires over here, which if you were to pull back the heat shrink, they're looking certainly quite dodgy. So what I would like to do, and what would certainly interest me with this particular radio, and noting it was sold for parts, is to essentially pull it apart and then to mount it on a wooden board. Do it nicely, so all the various circuit boards are nicely mounted. and then either utilize these existing looms, or what I would probably do is create new ones. Yeah, I haven't put too much thought into that one, but the bottom line is I could see myself certainly, like I say, pulling it all apart and mounting it onto a board. What I would probably do at the same time, because that would certainly interest me as well, is to do a bit of a transplant when it comes to the VFO in the silver case here. If you undo those 4 screws, this whole VFO unit comes out. And what I'd probably look to do is to replace that with either an 809850, an Arduino, and a nice LCD screen, or something else. But suffice to say, do away with the phase lock loop, do away with the VFO, and I don't say digitize it, but like I say, put in an Arduino and something else as a replacement. To me, that would be of interest, and I would certainly enjoy doing that. And then at the same time, just slowly go through it and see if I can get it back up to its former glory in terms of performance. What I can't find, unfortunately, online, and I've certainly searched, well, I've started the search, is the TS-120V service manual, which would give all the various amplitudes and voltages around the circuit. That would certainly be would be important to tune it up. The operating manual does have the circuit diagrams, which is good, which would certainly help in just doing some diagnostics and working out how far signals are getting and where problems may be. So that would certainly be a starter, but having the service manual would be of certainly a real benefit. Yeah, like I say, so to me that would be, I would enjoy that. That'd be lots of fun, like I say, to mount this nicely on a board, redo all the looms, make it all look nice, do a transplant on the VFO, and basically just go through it and basically get it back up and running. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. I might just sort of sit on that for a couple more days before going any further. Obviously got sort of lots of ideas of things to do. At some stage I do want to have a look at some low power amplifiers for some of those little tramping rigs, but I'm a bit like a magpie, and something shiny's come along, so I've picked up that little shiny thing and going to have a bit of a play with that. But anyway, so like I say, just thought I would throw that video up for a bit of interest. There may be others who have similar interests to that, but that's what I'm currently thinking about. The screws are missing all over the place, so who knows what's going on. But yeah, I can sort of see myself too in pulling this apart, just doing away with certain parts of the circuit. It's on the back there. You can see something here that I've soldered on. That wasn't me. Soldered on the power there. Yeah, I wouldn't have any need for remote controls and the like, and auxes, so I could see any wiring that goes to that. I would just take it back to the circuit board and snip it off as not required, and just take it back to sort of the bare bones. But anyway, so like I say, I'm starting to ramble now, so I'm going to say 73s, and like I say, put a little bit more thought over the next couple of days, and then maybe pull the trigger and start pulling stuff apart. There's other problems too. These switch units here, that one there on the Vox is certainly dicky. You get that bit of a wiggle and it starts transmitting away. But again, I hardly ever use these switches, so I could sort of see those being done away with potentially, or maybe just move to very nice little small toggle switches mounted on the board. I could certainly see that. But yeah, probably enough said there. So 73s everyone, and like I say, I'll keep you posted of people's interest. Cheers all.